Okay, so today we're going to be analyzing Tomer's 17.16 mean of 3 for 3x3. Okay, so for his first solve, for his cross, he holds it with green in the front and white at the bottom. So what he does is a D2 to move this over to match up the red, move this over, move that over like that to pair up the green and the orange. But then what he does is he rotates over here, takes out the blue, rotates and puts it back in. So if you're going to do white cross in this case, I would not recommend rotating twice, especially for your cross, because if you're going to do that exact same solution by doing a D2, U prime, R prime, F, by having it over here, you could do a D to move this over, so then you can put this cross piece in, and then a D prime to move that back, and then your whole cross is solved and it's rotationless. But I'm going to be showing you a solution that I think, in my opinion, is way better. Okay, so what you could have done to actually get a free pair with the red and blue over here, red, blue, and white pair, what you could do is do a B, just like this, to move it over, and then you can move this piece over here, still holding it in this position, keep that in mind. Having this in the back, you can move this over here, this cross piece in, and then do a D to align this and match those colors up, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, like you did before, to put those pieces in, and then you have a free pair right in front of you. For your first pair, what you actually do is you hold the blue in the front, rotate over here, do this pair, the green and orange, like this. What you could have done instead, actually, in this position, I wouldn't go for this pair initially. I would actually see this pair over here, as you can do it pretty nicely, rotationless. So from right here, you can go like this. But otherwise, your solution for that pair was actually pretty efficient, just going like this. Okay, so your next pair was actually pretty good right here. I would honestly go with this pair here, the red and blue, but you actually did look around quite a bit, and when you're doing your pair, your first pair, I would just recommend looking at the exact same time for your second pairs. You did a pretty good solution here, but you did do U's and U primes and did look in the back a little bit, and it could have saved you 1 or 2 seconds in your solve, definitely. Okay, so next up you had this free pair, which was actually really nice. You executed this really nicely, so you just rotated over here and inserted it into the back, which is really good. And then you also had this pair here, which I noticed that you kind of fumbled around with. You were in this position right here, and you actually rotated over here and to solve this, and then you rotated back over here and then did it in the back like that. That is not the best, and since you're already in this position and you can just do a U, why not just solve it from here like this? I don't know if that was a little mistake or something, but be a little bit more conscious about your rotations in this case, because I think it'll definitely slow you down if you do this, and definitely think about what you're doing in your solves a little bit more efficiently. Okay, next up, your OLL was pretty good here. So you just did this case, but also what you could have done is, since you could have held it right here and done this algorithm right here, so the L goes like this: M prime, U prime, M, U2, M prime, U prime, M, just like that, and it forces a T perm. Obviously, I don't think you would recognize that in a solve, but it's just something to look out, and an alternate alg you can use just in case for that angle. Okay, so at the end you had a G perm, and what you actually did was moved it over and did a lefty A perm, which I'm actually quite confused by why you did that exactly, because you could have just done the G perm algorithm. So I would just recommend learning the G perms, because I know that you haven't learned it yet. So just by learning rotationless algorithms like this definitely does help, and it will definitely make your solves a lot better, because definitely if you want to be sub 15, then you definitely have to know full PLL. And also, even if you're doing that G perm there, I would just recommend having the headlights on the left and just doing the T perm first of all, and then going into your U perm. Okay, so on to solve number 2. Your cross solution wasn't exactly the greatest. So initially you held it like this with white in the front. I would not recommend holding your cross in the front, because that is actually pretty bad. So instead, hold it like this with the cross at the bottom, and then do an F2 to pair this up and match those up, R prime, F prime. You did that pretty nicely, except about that rotation. But for this piece right here, what you did, I'm really confused, is you went like this: R, U prime, R prime, and then B2, and inserted it into the back. That is a very bad solution, and like I said before, you could just do a D prime to move this cross over, R prime, D. For your first pair, it was actually pretty nice. You had this here, the orange and blue, so you went like this, you paired it up I would have done that, and then you inserted it into the back, but it did take you a while to actually recognize it, and I feel like you kind of fumbled on whether you do a U prime and then insert it, or an R prime U2 R. But just be a little bit more conscious and about knowing your F2L pairs and really get it into your muscle memory. Okay, so your next pair honestly wasn't too bad either. You had it right here, and you did a U R U prime R prime U prime R U R prime U R U prime R prime. It was actually pretty nice there, and you had it over here, and you have this whole entire left slot empty. Okay, so for your third pair, this is where it kind of gets a little bit iffy, and I'm not sure if you did the right solution here. This is definitely not the best one. So you do a U2 to pair this up, and what you do is you take it out like this, and then you rotate back over here, which I don't understand, because you want to insert it always into the back, because it's definitely not the most efficient. Then you have to rotate back over here, and that's not the best. But instead, for that third pair, what you could do is rotate over here, so you have the two front slots open, and what you could do is a U, and then into a sledgehammer right here, just like this, and it gives you a pair like this right here, which you can go into just like that. Okay, so once you inserted your third pair, this is what you did for your last pair. So a better solution for this is just rotating and then doing an R U prime R prime instead of doing the U3 before, and just be a little bit more conscious about that and definitely getting these pairs into muscle memory. So just about practicing solves and doing slow solves, that's what I would recommend for you. So you insert it pretty regularly for that. Okay, so you have this OLL, and I'm sort of confused because I'm not exactly sure what you do here. You do something like this, and then you go straight into this OLL, which I'm not sure why you would do that, because that OLL is actually very, very easy. So for this OLL, simply what you could have done is a U, and then do R prime F, sexy, F prime U R. And then for PLL, I think you need to get a little bit better with your recognition of PLL at least, because you did fumble and look around quite a bit, and also with your finger tricks. So in the beginning you thought it was a T-perm, so you went like this, and then you realized, oh no, it's not a T-perm, and then you went into this case. Well, you didn't use double flicks at all, so make sure to use those, because you went like this. The algorithm should look like this. Make sure you're using double flicks, and the alg fast looks like this. Okay, so for your last solve, your cross solution wasn't exactly the best. So what you do is you see this piece over here, you do a D to move it over, you take this piece, move it over like this, and you see that pair, you do a D to line those two back up, and then you have this over here. You actually do look around over here, move that piece down, and then you look around the cube. Obviously, I think you should learn to do your cross in just one go, and memorizing where all the pieces will go once you solve them. Then you do U2, R2, and once again you did just do this, and you didn't do a double flick, so make sure to work on your double flicks and finger tricks, because it definitely will help you. Okay, so for this cross solution, what you could do is actually build an X cross. So if you hold it like this with white at the bottom and orange in the front, you could do an R prime to bring this down, and these two are just a D2 away from being solved. Then over here you could bring this piece in by doing a D L prime like that, and you have this corner here stuck. We know the edge is also right here, so by doing an F prime right here, and we know the last cross piece is right here, L prime, U, L, just like that. And then simultaneously you could do a U prime and a D at the exact same time, just like that. And then what you could do is just do an R2, like that. And then you have your X cross over here. Okay, so for your first pair is actually fairly inefficient. So what you noticed was this corner here and this edge here. You did look around, and that was pretty bad. Honestly, you need to look ahead for your first pair a little bit better while you're doing your cross. You paired it up like this, took it out, and then inserted it into the back like that. You probably know what I did. But then here, what you could do is actually this pair right here by doing a U, R prime, then inserting it right there. But alternatively, if you did that pair, so if we have the corner and the edge paired up like this, from this angle, what you could do is a B prime, R, U prime, B, R prime, just like that, and it's solved into the back also. For your next pair, you were sort of confused, but you did end up doing a pretty efficient solution here, but you did look around, and that's what slowed down your time, and this made it a 19-second solve. So here what you did is this rotationless pair right here, this orange and blue, you went like this into the back, and it was a really nice solution. I have nothing to critique there. Okay, so for your third pair, it was actually very inefficient, and you notice that there was really nothing that you could do here, but honestly I would just go for this pair here because it'd be the easiest. You just do a U2 and then rotate and then go like this. But what you did in this case was just to take out this pair here, you went like this, U2, rotated, and then inserted it into the back. Okay, so for your final pair, you do a pretty efficient solution here by doing this red and blue pair by like this, and then even though you insert it the regular way and it gives you a really nice case, you could do a U prime and a sledgehammer, so just be conscious about that. But in this case it was actually good because you got a T-shaped case, because here it orients all the edges just by doing a sledgehammer because you know you have an L-shaped case in the top, but otherwise you had a F sexy F prime and you did it like this. And then for your PLL, once again you did this weird lefty A perm, which is kind of weird, and once again make sure to do a T perm from here if you're going to do 2-look. But otherwise, this is the G perm that you had in your first solve, so just be sure to do the regular AUG. So from this angle, what you could do is you could do a one that requires a rotation, like this, with no AUF, or you could do one with an AUF, but it's rotationless, like this. So just be a little bit more conscious about that, and be sure to learn your G perms because those are definitely an algorithm that you want to learn. Okay, so overall Tamer, your solves are pretty great. Your F12 solutions weren't as bad as I thought. It is just your last layer, like learning the G perm like this one. Even if you are going to do 2-look PLL, just make sure when you have the headlights on the left side, do a T perm. So in a G perm, like in this example, make sure when you have the headlights on the side, don't do this lefty A perm because that will definitely slow you down, and it's a lot slower than doing the T perm with the headlights on the left, and then you can go straight into your U perm. That's just one thing I would recommend. Also, your F2L solutions, get better at look ahead and work on some more efficient cross solutions, and don't rotate in your cross whatsoever. So like trying to find efficient cross solutions, 8 movers or less. Practice slow solving because that'll definitely help your look ahead, and a little bit more of efficient solutions, especially with your F2L, because I find that some of them, especially in that last solve when you had the corner and the edge both stuck into the wrong slots, that is where you did have a little bit of trouble. So just be sure to learn some of those a little bit advanced cases, but otherwise your solves were good, and that is all I had for your critique, and hopefully you found value out of this. But yeah, that is all I had for this video, guys. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.